Bienvenue à nouveau sur Absolument un meilleur podcast, un projet en cours. Je suis Jacques et aujourd'hui, je suis accompagné de mon bon ami Georges. Et de retour dans l'émission, notre très bon ami du podcast La Semaine de Guinée, c'est Blue.
That sounded incredibly authentic. No notes. No notes whatsoever.
I had a little help. I'm sure it wasn't enough help.
Oh, I assumed you understood what he was saying, Blue.
I know
I don't understand what I'm saying.
very small amounts of French, so I can pick out like one out of every like 6 words.
I did accidentally call myself Jacques instead of Zach.
I heard that.
Yes. But welcome back to episode of the best podcast work progress. I'm Zach, and with me today is my good friend George. And
Hello.
returning to the show is another good friend of mine from Gamers Week podcast. It's Blue.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me back, you guys. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, if you didn't do a good job, we wouldn't have. So
well,
if
obviously
you don't-
I
if
did
you
a
don't
good
want to
job.
come
I
back,
assume that.
if you don't want to come back, blow it on this one.
Okay.
There's no Colby today. He's busy playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure as an egg with a big booty or something. I don't know. That's a reference for This Bizarre Adventure. So if you're the This Bizarre Adventure-er, then you would have got that reference. This is Series 4, Episode 2, which is our AVPCU adjacent series. So there will be at least one tie-in to that franchise. I'll probably stop with the French now. I'm sure it's offensive.
The French never get offended at people butchering their language.
Never. It's never happened once.
Nope, not once.
And I wouldn't worry about it, except we do get some downloads in France.
Not
So-
anymore.
I'm just fixing that problem. Today we are talking about one of my favorite movies, definitely my favorite French film. I was going to say the French version of it, but maybe I won't. The City of Lost Children from May 17th, 1995. Remember that we don't do an overall ranking for Series 4 or for Series 2, but after we discuss the movie, we will give our ratings for the film and whether or not it's absolutely one of the best movies. It is, no matter what George says. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. And I implore you to please watch this movie with subtitles, not dubbed, before listening to this episode. You don't want this one ruined for you.
You should watch all anime, subtitled, not dubbed as well.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't ever. I don't really watch anime, but I actually do have Akira sitting over here. I ended up buying Akira because RGB told me that it was body horror adjacent, at least. And I was like, ooh, okay, now I'm interested. So,
Yeah, Ryan
Huh.
likes so little anime that if he recommends one, then you know it's really good.
okay, yeah. I just got to find the time to watch it.
Actually, I guess all subtitled movies, or all movies that have subtitles, you should probably listen to it in the
That's,
native
anything
language.
that's, yeah, listen
right?
to it to whatever language it was recorded in, please. Okay, that takes us to movie memories. Blue, did you want to go first with movie memories on this, as you are our guest?
I honestly do not recall the first time I saw this movie. I'm sure it was at film school because this is not a widely known movie, which kind of surprised me. I rewatched it yesterday because it'd been several years since I watched it. And then I wanted to hop online on YouTube, watch a couple retrospectives and see what other people thought of it. And in the entirety of YouTube, there's like 3 people who talk about this movie. It's like nobody is talking about this movie. Nobody knows it. Nobody remembers it. So all that to say, I'm sure the first time I saw it was when I was at film school because the best part of that school was they had a big VHS library of foreign films. And so there was an opportunity to watch stuff that back then you never would see otherwise. And I'm pretty sure that's when I saw this one. But I have it now for myself, my own copy on DVD.
Nice, yes. I have a VHS copy of it somewhere, but I do have it
VHS
on.
would be cool, but it comes with a little booklet.
Yeah, I have that
pictures.
DVD as well, and I have the Blu-ray, and I have a 4K Blu-ray of it. I keep buying it every time it comes out. But,
You're a fancy boy, huh?
yes, well, it's one of my favorite movies, as we've discussed. I remember seeing a trailer for it before some movie that I rented. This was like 1997, 98 maybe. And it looked interesting, and they had hyped up that it had won a bunch of awards and stuff. And it had Ron Perlman. So I was like, I gotta watch that. So I went looking for it. Could only find a used VHS copy to buy, but it wasn't expensive because nobody had heard of this movie.
Mhm.
And so I bought that, and that was money well spent. I don't remember what it was. It couldn't have been more than $5, but that was well worth it. And I probably wore that tape out watching the movie. And yeah, eventually got it on DVD. At one point when it was, I think this is before Blu-ray, but it couldn't have been before Blu-ray, but you could get HD movies as downloads. Basically, I did find a allegedly illegal copy of it online in HD, and had that for a while until it actually came out on Blu-ray, and then now on 4K. I haven't actually watched the 4K version. I should. I wonder if it is noticeably different. It might actually. That might hurt it.
I was just gonna say, feel like this is the kind of movie where if you upscaled it a lot, you would start to see the cracks around the edges.
Yeah. I mean, even on VHS, there's some of the effects are a little questionable, but the movie is so good, I can look past that. So yeah, I love this movie. I've seen it dozens of times. It's wonderful. And I've been trying to make it fit into this podcast since we started. So once we finally started on the AVPCU series, I was like, oh, Ron Perlman's in it. We will get to this movie. Well, there will be a connection. I did also watch with commentary that had Jean-Pierre Jeunet, one of the directors, well, with an assistant to help with translation, but she only had to chime in like twice, I think. And Ron Perlman. And the only complaint I have about that commentary is that the movie audio was also in English. And that's
a deal breaker.
Oh, it is really bad. It was really hard. I was like, because sometimes I would take a little break from the commenting. I was like, you can't let me listen to this movie, you guys. It's so bad. It's like Miette is like this British actress, and one is this Russian dude, and it's like this menagerie of different accents, and it's just none of it's good. It's not what I'm used to. So that's why I was saying definitely watch it dubbed, or definitely don't watch it dubbed. Excuse me. Use the subtitles. It's okay to read. Now, George, you watched it for the first time recently, so
Yes.
I guess any general overall remarks you have are going to be very recent, but I'd like to hear some, generally, what did you think?
Yeah. So I came away from it the same way that I came away watching Tenet, which was, I almost feel like I was too dumb for the movie.
You don't want to think about it too hard?
Yeah, well, I mean, not that I'm too dumb, but that I needed to watch it several times for it to really sink in.
Yeah.
Like I think a good chunk of me watching it was me going, whoa, what the hell was that? Or just kind of like the visuals were just very like different from what what we're used to.
It's very
like,
stylized.
high-def everything. Yeah, it was super stylized. Like the lens choices and everything make you feel like you missed something the first time around. And I don't think it helped when I was watching it that I was really tired and I had to break up the amount, like the different parts that I watched, because I feel like I would have gotten a lot more if I just sat down, didn't have kids, and was just watching it straight from beginning to
Darn
end.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I enjoyed what I was looking at. I think there were some places where I was like, oh, that's confusing. What happened there? And I wasn't sure if I missed something earlier on. So yeah, I think I messaged you once that I fell asleep during a portion,
which I thought was a bad portent.
No, I don't think it's bad at all. I think it was just that I was tired and I had to rewind to catch it.
Yeah, I think everything's pretty explained in the movie, but I could definitely see how it's not. All right,
kind of
Blue disagrees. Okay.
Yeah.
It's explained enough. I mean, any gripes anybody's going to have, I'm going to counter with it's a fantasy movie. Like you got to let things go, and that is never my thing. And I don't know why I love this movie so much, but
we have found it. We have found Zach's bias.
Yes,
right.
I've said it before. I'm a hypocrite, and the movie's got to be good for me to let these things go.
I think everyone's a hypocrite with their favorite movie.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, getting on to the credits. This was written and directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. He's one of our AVPCU tie-ins, of course, because he directed Alien Resurrection. It's a good movie. What are you talking about? During our coverage of which I proclaimed my love for this movie, City of Lost Children, as being one of my favorite movies. And we already kind of covered him during that, so I don't know if Blue, did you have anything to add about Jean-Pierre Jeunet?
No. I think he's done they're the team behind like Delicatessen and Amelie, which I'm sure you're going to bring up later, and I've ruined your trivia.
No, that's
once
fine.
Again.
But then, yeah,
it's
too obvious.
Really celebrated films, and then it was Alien Resurrection, and we don't know what happened there. I guess nobody's perfect.
Was Alien Resurrection after Amelie? I thought it was before, but I don't know.
I think it is.
So,
is it?
So what happened there was that he made a pretty good Alien movie. So,
if you say so.
Anyways, this was actually co-written and co-directed with Mark Caro. So Jeunet and Caro, they previously did Delicatessen, but after this, I think it was a mutually respected parting of ways. And yeah, as you said, Jeunet did Amelie, which everybody knows and loves, great movie, and a bunch of other stuff, which I've watched most of his movies and I've liked them all, but this is still obviously the best, and Amelie is also up there. But Mark Caro, he hasn't really done much since, so I don't really know what happened there. There's an additional writing credit to Giles. I don't know how to pronounce that. Gilles. Giles Adrian.
Giles?
Yeah. I thought it was originally Giles because that's what it says in Wikipedia.
I'm going to go with Giles because that's how they say it in Buffy.
That's probably it.
Oh.
All those years of watching Buffy paid off.
You're welcome.
But he's a French writer who's obviously written French films, and he was also one of the writers on Delicatessen, but I don't really know anything else that he did. The main protagonist here is Ron Perlman. He plays One, and I don't know why the character's name is One in English, but I love it. It's great. One is kind of a simpleton. He's like a carnival strongman and de facto big brother to an orphan named Don Ray. He's another AVPCU tie-in because of Alien Resurrection, and we already talked about him, but if Blue, you want to shower Mr. Perlman with some praise, I'd be glad to hear it.
Let's see. How else can I ruin your trivia? He doesn't speak French.
Nope. Did this all phonetically.
It all phonetically, which, holy cow, that's extremely impressive. Which, again, I don't know if you are a native French speaker, you can probably tell the difference, but
you saw how easily I did it at the beginning of the episode.
I know. It just flows. It just flows, man.
That's why Ron Perlman gets paid the bid bucks.
Yes.
Right. That's a lot of lines to memorize phonetically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just got to feel like gibberish, right?
Right. But you have to get the gibberish in the right order.
That's also, you know what? It could be terrible French. I don't know.
Maybe that's why he has like really simpleton lines.
Yeah. Other than Ron Perlman and Dominique Pignon, no one else in the movie is in stuff that I've seen. So, other than some other Jean-Pierre Jeunet films. So I'm probably not going to have much to say on what else they've done. Next, Judith Vitette as Miette. She's kind of the leader of the orphans here. This is pretty much the only thing she's actually had a major acting role in. She moved into costuming and decoration as she got older. By the way, I love this movie so much that when my wife and I were having kids, if we ever had a girl, I was going to try to get my wife to let me name her Miette, which was going to be a hard sell. She never really agreed, but we never had a girl, so it didn't matter. Daniel Emmelfork plays Kronk. Kronk is sick in German. I don't know why he has a German name, but he does. I think he's also, he might also be a German actor, but he speaks French just fine. But yeah, Kronk, like Gesundheit versus Krankheit. And Jean-Pierre Jeunet says that he was a diva and difficult to work with. So I don't think he's in any other Jean-Pierre Jeunet movies. He's really good, though. Joseph Lucien as Don Ray. That's One's adopted little brother. He is pretty adorable. and burps throughout the movie. Dominique Pignon plays the professor, or the original. He also plays the clones. There's 6 of them. Like I said, he was in AVPCU Resurrection. He's in all of Jean-Pierre Genet's movies. Do you have anything to add on Dominique Pignon, Blue?
No.
Just an interesting looking guy.
Just an interesting looking guy.
All right.
Did they do anything special effects wise with all the clones, or
I
was it just
wanted to know more about that, actually, and I swear I've seen a behind the scenes thing on it, and I bet you it's on the Blu-ray or that 4K Blu-ray. And if I had more time, I would have looked into it, but it's done really well, especially for 1996 or whatever.
5.
Right? 5? Wow, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's multiple of him on screen. He's like, there's a scene where they're like one at a time slapping each other, turning and slapping, and I can't tell the cut. It's done really well. Genevieve Brunet and Odile, I don't know, Odile Mallet. I'm sure it's Mallet, as the octopus. They are twins. The latter one has a married name, so that's why they don't have the same last name. They play conjoined twins, which is why the orphans call them the octopus. If I'm picking nits, it does seem like they have a shared leg, so he should be the septipus. But it's not clear. It could be separate legs. I don't know. Jean-Claude Dreyfus as Marcelo. He's a former circus performer. I think he ran the flea circus based on how he has pet fleas. And they don't really get into his backstory. I don't really think they need to, but he's kind of indebted to the octopus. And he's a bit of a tragic character. Doesn't really like doing what he has to do for them.
The CGI for the fleas and stuff, that was
pretty bad.
It wasn't great, but for the time, I guess that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was like a hair better than Lawnmower Man, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. And, they don't overuse it. I think they use it as little as they possibly could. So, but that's what, I don't know if you remember when we were talking about the opening of Alien Resurrection, there was that alternate one with it starts with the bug's mouth and you're supposed to think it's the xenomorph, and it zooms out.
Yeah.
Like, it looked way worse than this did even. It was really bad.
Wow.
But maybe it wasn't finished. I don't know. Jean-Louis, I can't pronounce this one, Trintignant as Uncle Irvin. He's the voice of Uncle Irvin. Irvin's the brain in a fish tank, the creation of the professor. Marielle Mosse as Martha. That's the professor's wife. She is a little person, or was a little person. She passed away. She was just under 4 feet tall, 3 foot 11 and a quarter inches. She also did the voiceover burps for Don Ray. Rufus is the name of the actor who plays Peeler. And I never caught that that was the character's name, but he's like the octopus's kind of bodyguard guy. He's always sitting out there. I think they call him Peeler because he's always out there like peeling an apple or whatever and like eating it. I forget. I feel like there's at least one scene where he's doing that. But his character does the various dirty deeds as needed. And Rufus is another one of Jean-Pierre Genet's favorites. He's in pretty much all of his movies. Serge Merlin as Gabriel Marie. That's the chief of the Cyclops. The Cyclops being kind of like this cult of weirdos we'll get into. This guy's another Jean-Pierre Genet favorite. He's the glass man in Amélie, for instance. The guy who has to like stay inside all the time because he's so fragile. And he's the guy in this movie. He does the sermon at one point, like about renouncing the gift of sight and so on. Tiki Holgado, he is an ex-acrobat. He's the guy who gets stabbed near the beginning by Peeler. He's another Jean-Pierre Genet favorite. And we have Francois, I don't know, last name, as Killer. That's the fat, bald Cyclops. And lastly, I have Lotfi Yahra Jadidi as Melchior. He's the creepy Cyclops with the bug eye and the snaggle teeth. Which I feel bad for saying snaggle teeth because I think that's his real teeth. But that wasn't his real bug eye. I did want to also point out, though, that the music was done. I didn't realize this till this last watch. The music was done by Angelo Badalamenti, and it's a really incredible score. I love it. I think people mostly know Angelo Badalamenti from like all of David Lynch's films, but he's done a bunch of other stuff. But I really like the score in this one. It adds a lot. So let's get into the main discussion. The film opens on a snowy Christmas Eve. A little boy in his crib sees Santa come down the chimney. The music's like just a little bit off, which I thought it was great. I almost immediately wanted to cry because it was just bringing back so many memories watching this movie. Then things go awry when another Santa comes down the chimney, and then more come in through the door. The picture starts to get real wonky. They do the CGI waviness. The music gets spookier, and the little boy gets very upset. And then the room is packed with Santas. One's boozing it up. There's a reindeer. It shits on the floor. And one Santa is actually the main antagonist, Kronk. It cuts to him with this contraption on his head, and he's yelling. We'll find out later that it's this dream device that he uses to enter children's dreams. It's children that he's abducted because he doesn't dream. And then he's got 6 clones. They're all played by Dominique Pignon. They're all his assistants. They're all screaming and they're running around. And as I was rewatching this, I was thinking, oh, this might put George off of things because this goes on. It goes on a little bit long.
Mm-hmm.
It did go pretty long.
Yeah, with just the screaming, I was like, if this is your first time watching it, I don't know, but I don't think it really stumbles after this. So
it was an interesting opening. I thought it was like, I was like, what is going on?
I think that's what they were going for. So
yeah.
There's also Martha, the little person lady, and Irvin, the brain in the aquarium. Irvin provides a little bit of exposition for what is a confusing scene for someone watching it for the first time. I really like the tank design for the brain too. It's got the horns from like a Victrola. Got a little bit of a steampunk look to it. A lot of this movie has kind of steampunk inspiration in the design.
Mm-hmm.
And then the establishing shot is that all of this is taking place in a lab that's on a oil rig out in some ocean somewhere. Next, in whatever city it is, they never say, there's a lot of orphans about. They're pickpocketing people. And then you see some of the Cyclops from the cult. They're people it's not clear to me if they're born without sight or have lost their ability to see in some way or another, or both.
No, I think that's part of it is because they're saying pluck out your eyes so you can see.
Right.
They're evangelizing.
So I think some of them do it to themselves, but the one guy who they put the monocle, the eye on basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's acting like he's seen for the first time because he's like, what's this? And it's, they're like, that's a woman, right? So although I feel like you probably have an idea of what one might look like. I don't know. Never been blind and then regained sight.
Does it replace their sight completely? Like their other eye just stops functioning?
I think that they're totally blind. And then they just have that
right.
one thing.
Because when the one turns on them, which we'll get to later, they're like, I can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you see the Cyclops cult. You see one, and he's a strongman breaking chains that he's wrapped in. It's like a street show. They're trying to get donations that his little brother, Don Ray, is walking around with a hat to have people give money. And then there's some commotion when the little brother bites an orphan who's trying to take their collection money. And then Peeler, who's that orphan wrangler guy for the octopus, he stabs their carnival barker and then runs off.
Shanks him. Straight up shanks him.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. So then we see one and Don Ray, that they live in this trailer. One has taken the stabbed guy back to take care of him. He's pretty much out of the movie at this point, that guy.
We assume he dies.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like there was a very good healthcare system going on there.
Not really. The tetanus seemed like a real concern.
That was probably it. Then Don Ray eats while one tends to that guy. It's kind of Don Ray's thing to always be eating. And some Cyclops try to tempt Don Ray outside with a candy apple. And we'll find out eventually that they steal kids to sell to or give to Kronk for his experiments. And though they've renounced the gift of sight, some of them they're equipped with these cameras that's tied to their brain. It's like this steampunk monocle camera thing. I don't really know how to describe it. Hopefully you've seen it. And they have a microphone that's held kind of like a gun. The POV shots are cool too. Like it's this old green phosphor CRT image looking thing.
It's like the opposite of Predator. Instead of red,
Yeah.
it's green.
Yes. So I'm wondering how they did that. I wonder if they did that practically or if that was just like a processing effect that they did.
Did I miss it completely? Why did they stab the carnival barker, their friend?
I think because they caught the kids stealing the money. And so I think that was a distraction so that they could steal the money. But I'm not sure. Anyways, the Cyclops attack in Dunray gets taken as one fights them off. And notably, he takes one of their eyes, which is important for later. They're not their eyeball, like the camera thing. He rips it off. That's important for later. And this is a pretty dark movie. And it's night and damp the whole time, but you can see things just fine. So it was shot very well. One gets chased and hides in some kind of guard tower at the docks. I don't know, it's like some small metal room. And there's a handful of the other orphans in there. And he tells them how he lost a little brother. Then they see some of the Cyclops approaching. So they hide him by pretending that he's a guard that they tied up. And then the Cyclops check out the joint. They steal a bunch of jewelry that the kids stole, and then they leave to continue their search. And we see that the orphans, they're pretty crafty. They actually were smart enough to hide most of the money that they stole underneath one. So it wasn't really to help them out so much as it was to hide their own goods. Then we're checking in real quick with Uncle Irvin. It's his birthday. That's the brain in the tank, if you don't recall. There's a couple of nice touches here. Some of the clones are going to blow out the birthday cake candles, but then Kronk opens the door, and when he does, like a gust of wind comes in and blows the candles out. I like that. And then one of the clones passes out into the cake, and we find out in a little bit that they all have narcolepsy.
Even though that's the only time it's ever shown.
Yeah, I feel like it happened one other time, but yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
There could have been more passing out.
There's 6 clones, but I don't think we ever see more than 4 in one place.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
I wonder if there's some filming limitations.
Yeah, it was probably difficult enough to get 4.
Mm-hmm.
Irvin talks to Kronk about his dreamless situation. He suggests that the children only have nightmares in the dream machine because he is evil, and that maybe he should study his own tears to determine why. So then the clones try to make him cry with laughter, but that's not working. They're not very funny. And so then Irvin tells him a sad story. And this is kind of our exposition dump. It's given us a lot of information as to what's going on here. It's done really well. Irvin tells a story about a gifted inventor who could create life. He made his own wife and children, but she was diminutive, and the 6 children, all cloned in his own image, they suffered from the sleeping sickness. That's the narcolepsy. And the inventor made a migraine-riddled brain in a fish tank to talk to. So that's obviously Irvin. And then he finally created the smartest man in the world, whose critical flaw was that he never had a dream. And he was so unhappy that he grew old quickly. So that's Kronk's backstory. So I really like this because up until that point, and it's not that far into the movie, but up until that point, you almost think that Kronk was the inventor. Or like Kronk is in charge there, but it's this other character that we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're setting the stage for the unknown character, this inventor. And I think they play with that nicely because each of the clones at one point thinks that they're the original, right? And I think because Irvin even tells one, he's probably told them all individually that, oh, you're special, you're the original. But Irvin's story worked because Kronk gets a tear in his eye, and everybody scrambles to get a dropper to suck it up. And as they do, Irvin continues. He says, the genius was so crazy that he believed a single teardrop could save him. So it was really just to mess with him and, to give us the background story as to what's going on. But I like that. Crank's pretty pissed off. And I always remember this line where he yells at Irvin. He's like, silence, legume. And That means vegetable. Like it means like silence or shut up, vegetable. But I don't know if you caught this in the subtitles. It says silence grub, which I don't know why that would be an insult either.
They both
isn't
work.
Grub
Yeah.
Isn't grub like a maggot or?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I would call somebody a grub. I don't know. So one of the clones runs over to Irvin to say goodnight, and before running out of the room, he holds up the palm of his hand for Irvin to see, and it says "à ce soir," which means tonight. So something's planned. I honestly forgot what what it was while I was watching it. That's for the show this time, but it does come back. We do find out. The next scene is at the orphanage where the conjoined twin sisters run the joint. The kids all line up to turn in their spoils. They all refer to the sisters as La Poulpe, which is the octopus. I really love that they call her that. That's great. And the actresses, they're great overall, but especially in this a scene that's coming up. But the way that they sometimes talk together and sometimes finish each other's sentences, I genuinely wonder how much of that was improvised and how much of that was rehearsed, because I've heard that twins kind of do that anyway.
I'm going to bet it was rehearsed.
Yeah.
It had to have been rehearsed. Yeah.
It's done really well.
Yeah. Like how one will take a hit off the cigarette and the other one will blow out the smoke.
Yeah. Oh, that for sure was rehearsed. I didn't think they were magic.
I know, but it's just a nice touch. Nice touch.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's all kinds of nice little touches like that. So one followed the kids to the orphanage, and he spies on them while the octopus is telling them how to break into some place to crack a safe for what's inside. She has the same safe there in the room for them to see. And the kids are like, there's no way we can do that in time. And the octopus says that the only other option would be to carry the safe out. And like, do you know, like kind of rhetorically, she's like, do you know somebody strong enough to carry the safe out? And just then one barges in because he's chased by the guard dog, picks up the safe and moves it to block the door. I'm pretty sure the octopus came a little right then too. They seem pretty impressed. So now one is part of their plan. And I really like the ingenuity of the break-in here too. They could have done it much more simply, but it's great. You're laughing. You don't like it?
I'm just it's only in a fantasy movie where something like this could be decided as the most foolproof plan.
Right. Well, my first note is bear in mind that this is a fantasy.
Right.
So like the key to the door that the safe is locked behind has conveniently been left in the lock on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And they push the key in, then they grate some cheese down by the bottom of it and like use a little like turkey baster thing to blow the cheese under the door. Then they have a mouse with a magnet on its tail. They let that in through some heating vent. And then the mouse goes, finds the cheese, the key gets stuck to the magnet, right? And then they send a cat in to chase the mouse back out. And yeah, it probably would have been more efficient to like do the paper under the door, knock the key onto that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe the key wouldn't fit. Maybe it was a big chunky key. This was much cuter.
Mm-hmm.
So then we cut to mission success. I like that we're not wasting time showing them actually take the safe and bring it to the docks. They're at the docks. The kids have the safe cracked open. They start to unload it, but one gets distracted by the Cyclops truck driving by. I'm not really sure, other than for movie purposes, I'm not really sure why he's still holding the safe like at an angle. But for movie purposes, he is, because he gets distracted by the truck and knocks the safe into the water. He goes chasing after the truck, hoping that he can find where they've taken down Ray. And then Miette goes after him. And man, she's cold-blooded. I forgot about this line. She's like, the wolf will have eaten Don Ray, telling him like not to bother. I don't know who the wolf is or if she's just making that up, but it's pretty cold. I think she's just trying to get him to move on because they still need his help. And then she says she knows where the truck goes and infers that she'll take him there. Then she asks how old Don Ray is, and he's like, petit frère, meaning little brother. And after he tells the story of how he found Don Ray, she's like, yeah, he's too little. And then she leaves him there for a moment only to return and say, come on, fathead. And so I guess they're teaming up now. Then we have the scene with the octopus that's really great. They're griping about the orphans while they're cooking dinner. And the choreography here is incredible. You know, again, They must have rehearsed this like crazy, or I don't know, twin improvisation magic. But they really act like a single person. Like one's itching the other one's arm. One tastes the food and the other one kind of smacks her lips. But the whole time that they're cooking, they discuss Mia and how she ran off with one and that maybe she should have an accident. So they are pretty cruel. Next, it's story time for Kronk, and one of the clones has to make up the most outrageous bullshit just to keep him entertained. Meanwhile, another clone brings a sleeping boy to Irvin. This is where the rumor comes up about one of the brothers being different than the rest. Irvin tells him that he's the original, he's special. You got to tell them what they want to hear. And then he tells this one clone that the original would be able to connect himself to a child in the dream machine. And Irvin's manipulating him, of course, but for good reason. Then they use the dream machine to trap the boy's nightmare in a canister that the clone throws into the sea. So it's basically like a message in a bottle. Then one and Miette sneak into a cyborg meeting. He fakes being a Cyclops with that camera that he stole earlier from the ones that he got in a fight with. That's how they were able to sneak in. This Cyclops meeting is pretty culty. Him and Miette watch through a vent somewhere looking down, and then that leader guy, Gabriel, he gives kind of a short sermon about why he renounced sight. And then they have a bunch of children, including Don Ray, that Martha is there with one of the clones to purchase or trade for. And they've brought a third eye, or whatever you want to call it, for one of the Cyclops, a working eye, one of the camera eyes, and that'll allow him to see. And I don't know, this religion doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but, again, it's a fantasy.
I think, we were talking earlier about things that were explained well and things that were not explained well. The Cyclops seem to be there mainly for spectacle and just to have like a third villain. But like who they are, what they want, what their goals are, we got nothing.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather under-explained than over-explained, and it's not good.
That's true. Most of the time, stuff is over-explained, and it kind of ruins it. I wouldn't have minded, though, just like a little bit more.
A little bit more would have definitely been helpful.
In just Crank basically providing eyes for kids?
For the Cyclops.
For the
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's trading. Yeah. I think that's his invention or whatever. So he's trading the eyes for the kids so that he can try to find one that doesn't have a nightmare, I guess.
Though if you add up all the eyes that were in there by how many kids it must have taken.
Good point.
Yeah, that's I'm surprised there's any kids left in that little shitty ass town.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say what period that this took place in, but birth control was probably not top of mind.
Probably.
France is for lovers.
Good point. One recognizes Don Ray by his cute little burp, and so he goes rushing in, and then Miette follows. They're clearly outnumbered. They get captured and sentenced to death tomorrow night at Pier 24. It's a fantasy. We got to make this interesting. And then we flash forward to the bug-eyed Cyclops, Melchior, telling the Octopus sisters where to find one in Miette. Then the Octopus enlists Marcel to help with a rescue mission. They know him from the old circus days. He's got a pet flea named Fleekins. That'll come in handy in a bit. Marcelo doesn't really seem to like having to help them, but he doesn't really seem to want to do much of anything. I think he's smoking opium or something. He's smoking something, and he just seems to lay around all day. Seems like he's pretty down. They want his help to rescue one and then let Miette be a snack for the fishes, as they say. So he preps Fleekins with a little injector snout filled with some mysterious fluid. Then we check back in with Kronk, and he's terrifying some children, trying to be dressed up as Santa, singing some French Christmas song. He looks insane. He looks crazy.
And that's another scene that just went on for so long.
It's a little uncomfortable.
Those children that they have in there, they're genuinely crying.
Yep.
That whole time. Like, I don't know what they were doing to those kids on set so that they would actually cry. Like they say in this scene earlier when the Cyclops are handing them over that not one of them is older than 5. So they've got these very tiny kids in there that they're actively terrorizing to get this scene.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't think anything was said about how they made the kids cry, but I do recall
those are genuine tears. Yeah.
In the commentary that Jean-Pierre Jeunet said something about it being upsetting, about how having to upset kids.
I would watch that reunion video on YouTube if there was a.
They're all like, "How's your therapy going?"
So yeah, he's dressed up as Santa, trying. I don't know what he was thinking. It's not working. The kids are crying loud, so he starts singing louder, and then like one of the clones bumps the record player or something and starts skipping, and he's trying to still sing along with it, and he just looks terrifying, and it's kind of funny to me, but yeah, the kids crying, it is upsetting. Then meanwhile, over at the docks, Wen and Miette are each tied up on a plank over the water, and the other end of the plank, each one has a basket of fish that the seagulls are eating. And I guess the idea is that they will eventually tip into the water as the basket gets lighter, which again seems like kind of a ridiculous way to kill someone, but they show the Cyclops betting on it. So
all the heists and plans are over-engineered.
Yes.
In this movie, it's okay. We go with it.
It's a fantasy. It's fine. Then we see little Fleekins jump on the head of a Cyclops and inject whatever the mystery liquid is. This is the really bad CGI, but I can look past it. They don't overuse it. And Marcello's there, and he plays some creepy organ grinder music, which makes the injected Cyclops kill the other ones, which was interesting. That's one where he like pulls the camera off of one of them, and the guy says, "I can't see," right? And then he stabs
him right in his eye hole.
Yep.
This scene is genuinely disturbing. Like, that's the first one is bad enough because he's like kind of trusting his comrade still, and then gets a knife in his eye socket for his troubles. The other one saw and is running not as fast as I would be running if I just seen that. But he kind of
in the water.
Yeah, he kind of just like stumbles and seems to accept his fate. And here's where it gets twisted, is because he pulls off his the victim's camera out.
Yep.
He takes his own and puts it back in his eye, so he has to watch himself being killed. I'm like,
that was cool.
That's a level of sadism that is like, holy shit, this is maybe a fantasy type of fairy tale movie, but it's not fucking around.
Wasn't that like a major plot point of that movie about the turn of the millennium? Oh, it's escaping me right now. I can't think of anybody's name in it. I can see them all too.
You're not talking about,
what is it?
Strange Days, are you?
Yes, I am talking about Strange Days. Where didn't the killer do that? Where they have like the brain, the thing you put on your head so you can like record your memories, whatever, and you'd put it on the person's head that he was killing, and record that.
I don't know. I never watched it.
Oh,
but it just seemed like it just seemed like something it just seemed like it fit the bill with what you were describing.
Well, you nailed it. It was good. Yeah, I haven't seen it since, I don't know, 1995 or whatever, whenever that came out. So maybe it's not very good, but anyways. So during the distraction, while the one Cyclops is killing the others, Marcel rows a boat to catch one, but he's too late to catch Miette. I think, to his credit, he did kind of try to get there in time, but he had his priorities.
Not much.
So down she goes, but she's discovered by a diver who brings her back to like his underwater lair. And when he takes his suit off, we see it's Dominique Pignon. He's got a beard, whereas the clones of him do not. He's the original. We're going to find out, or if in case it's not obvious.
Was like diving into the water to save Miette not a thing?
Not an option. Yeah, I don't know.
It feels like
the water's pretty gross.
The only one that that got
nobody
in
the movie swims.
No. And I don't know. I mean, they're just worthless little orphans, right? And that's their view, not mine.
I was just curious because I was curious if like maybe was there something like symbolic about the water or something that people like the only person that ever was in the water and came out besides Miette was the diver dude.
You know, now that you say that, it sounds familiar that there was some symbolism there, but I don't recall. So I apologize. I could also just be like, yeah, there should be some, but I don't know. So the diver, he's got all kinds of stuff that he found while he was diving. It's all tagged with when and where he found the stuff. And then he tags and labels Miette, which I thought was kind of funny. And then he's walking around with his heavy diving boots on and accidentally steps on her hand, and that brings her around.
You know, that really, I mean, not entirely related, but that reminded me of Carl Urban when he was like, "This is my stuff" in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he's got the same hoarding problem. So they talk for a bit. He says he stays under the surface. He thinks it's too dangerous up top. He's also lost his memory. Notably, he does have the safe that one dropped in the water from earlier, and then Mia immediately raids what's left in there. And he doesn't want her to go back up. He says that the devil takes children away in his boat to hell, and that a tattooed man knows where, and there's a map of the minefield, map through the minefield on the tattooed man, which is kind of a lot to drop in this movie all at once. So she looks through a periscope. She sees some kids, including Don Ray. They're being taken onto a boat. And so she leaves. She just goes up some stairs to the surface, it seems like. Didn't seem like it was too much of an issue to get out of there.
She left the door open, too.
How rude.
Mm.
And she bumps into some of her orphan colleagues. They tell her that one doesn't seem to be too upset about her. They saw him at a bar. So he is at a bar. He did think that Miette drowned, and he was drowning in his sorrows while boozing up with Marcel. He does not handle his liquor well, by the way. He's very distraught about Miette. Even a local prostitute is finding a challenge to distract him from his sorrows. And Marcel checks in with the octopus via telephone. They have another job for him already. He's got to meet them in half an hour. Then one finally starts to pay a little more attention to the prostitute, her breasts at least, until she says something about that her breasts have not failed her yet. And the subtitle says, "They haven't failed me yet." And I don't know what the French language version of that is, because the direct translation of that does not sound at all like Miette. But whatever she actually said must sound the same, because he thinks that she says Miette. It reminds him that she drowned.
Or she just says, "They haven't failed me." And then he's like, "Oh, I know what failure is."
But it's very clearly, you can hear what she says sounds like Miette. And he's like, oh.
Les gars, quand je passe, ils ont peur pas aux miettes.
Petit ange.
I mean, I'm sure you have to do that with translation. Sometimes you got to come up with something else. But anyways, where was I? So he's bummed out all over again. And just as she starts to bring him around again, Miette comes in and chews him out for not being upset about her. Obviously, he's happy to see her, and he can't even believe it. And then he passes out because he's been drinking too much. Marcel is also so relieved that she's still alive. Like, you can tell that he was genuinely glad that she's there. Like, he was upset that he had let her die.
Yeah. That's another thing that I think we could have just used just a little bit more, because they clearly have a history. He's like, "No, I didn't betray you." Like, they clearly know each other.
Right. They must have worked together before.
Yeah. I think just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
The octopus told him, though, that was part of the plan, right?
To let her die.
To let her drown, yeah.
To let her die.
Which is why I think he didn't die. Well, other than the gross water and nobody swims, I think that's part of the reason why he didn't go in after her. And I'm sure that he's been regretting that decision ever since. And then she walks in and, tears of relief. So, yeah, she really looks super pissed here. He tells her to run because the octopus boys show up to get one. And he says, he's like, "Run, let them continue to think that you're dead." As the guys drive off with one in the back of their truck, the orphans use a crane to lift them out. And then the other kids run off and leave Miette alone with one.
That's a very savvy crane work for kids.
Well, I mean, they're street rats, they got to use their ingenuity.
Well, and they attend a safe cracking class during the day.
That's true.
So perhaps they also had crane driving class.
Clearly they did. That one did anyway. He was a little rough at it. Took him a minute to get it right? Didn't he? He like puts him down on the on this giant construction tube or whatever, and one's running on top of it, ends up in the water.
And they have to throw him a life preserver. So clearly he doesn't swim.
That's right. He doesn't swim either.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Oh, right.
I think there's something. I think there's some meaning behind that as well. Nobody in this movie swims. I do love the scene here when Juan and Miette they're trying to like go to sleep in an alleyway on these burlap sacks, which looks super itchy. But it reminds me of my son talking to me when I'm going to bed. Like I'll still put him down, and he always wants to talk for a little bit. So it just reminds me of that. I thought it was really sweet. One tells her about how he used to be a whale hunter, but after hearing them sing, he couldn't do it anymore, and he got fired. I got a little teary, I gotta admit, that when he calls her little sister, he's like, Donneray, petite frère, Miette, petite sœur. It's all very sweet, and I've always loved the sweetness of this movie. Even before I had kids, I always thought it was really adorable.
Despite the massive amounts of nightmare fuel and questionable child treatment that may have gone on behind the scenes, it is a very sweet movie.
Yes. Well, I didn't think about that part. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So while that was going on, the diver found the nightmare bottle. He's cataloged it and put it up on a shelf or in a net or something before going to sleep. And then we get our first Rube Goldberg machine here. It's a pretty little one compared to the one we get later. A crab falls out of the diving suit that's been hung up. It lands on a valve for an air hose. That starts swishing around, knocks some can off a drying line. The can hits an alarm clock. The alarm clock goes off. It causes the diver to sit up, and he hits his head on the shelf above him, and that knocks that nightmare canister thing onto the floor, and it cracks open, and this green mist comes out. The effects here are not great, but for the time, it was pretty good, and because of the scene, I feel like it's more than tolerable.
I think, like you've said before, because they used practical effects every single place that they could. When they have the CGI and it doesn't overstay its welcome, like we can move
let it
past
slide.
it. Yeah.
Forgivable.
Yeah. But the scene is really good. The green mist nightmare goes in the diver's head. He starts dreaming about the lab, about his wife and Irvin and Kronk. And then it's kind of like a flashback as he remembers making the clones and basically getting into a lab glassware fight with Kronk, who, with Martha's help, knocks him out and they throw him into the ocean. So I think that's really good storytelling there. Then the green mist goes around, it goes out of his head, goes around the town, infecting other people's dreams. Like you hear a baby crying and stuff. And eventually it finds Miette, and she has the dream. She wakes up and tells one that she dreamt of the woman who was buying the children. And she also dreamt of the mines. She remembers what the diver told her about the tattooed man. And so they're going to go looking for the tattooed man.
I think one nice or interesting touch of when the green mist is floating around the town is it passes this woman with absolutely giant knockers, and she is clearly not wearing a bra because nobody swims and nobody wears bras in this city.
It's a very French film.
It's a very French film, and she turns and kind of scurries away, and they're just like,
yep. And she's not asleep, so it's not interested in her huge knockers.
Right.
That was a great note there.
Massively nipping as well.
Massively what?
Nipping.
Oh. Turkey's done.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe I do need to watch that 4K version. Someone told the octopus that Miette is still alive, and they show up at Marcel's with Peeler. They beat up on him, take his fleas, and then they tell Peeler to kill him. But after they leave, because they don't want to see him be killed, of course, why would you? Peeler just pretends to kill Marcel. It's freaking autocorrect kept changing it to Marcel. It's Marcel, right? Not Marcelo. So Peeler just pretends to kill him, and he's just like, I don't really like them telling me what to do. So I don't know how he thinks he's going to get away with that, but
I'm surprised he wasn't deaf after a shotgun blast. So
yeah,
close
right.
To his ear.
Two shotgun blasts.
Two of them. And I love that Marcel has this big, like, mean-looking mastiff who never does anything the whole movie. He just sits there.
The dog is high too, I think.
Could be.
Importantly, over at the Kronk household, Donneray sneaks into the dumbwaiter with Kronk's dinner and eats it before it gets served. And this intrigues Kronk. Donneray's the only child who hasn't been afraid of him. So he talks to Donneray for a bit while the kid eats some more. And now it seems like he's finally found the perfect host for his dream that he can invade, without it becoming a nightmare anyway. One and Mia are seeking out the tattooed man. They go to a tattoo shop. On their way there, there's a nice moment when she complains about her feet being tired. She's like, every step that you take, I have to take 3. So then he rubs her disgusting little orphan feet and then puts her on his back and carries her for a while. Then they get to a tattoo parlor and he gets Miette pour la vie tattooed on his arm. For those of you that don't parler français, that's Miette for life. And she harasses the shop owner about where to find the tattooed man. And you're never going to believe it, but it's him. He's the tattooed man.
What a twist.
The first place they went.
No, they said it was the 15th one.
Did they? Or are you joking with me?
In the dialogue right before where she gets tired and he rubs her disgusting orphan feet, he said, the tattoo place is up here. And she's like, yeah, the 15th one we've been to.
How many tattoos does he have? That's great. Okay, that's a nice detail. That's good. All right. I like that a lot better then. Because that's like one of my minor nitpicks with this movie.
You're welcome.
So Miette offers up a bribe in the form of the stolen jewelry to the shop owner's wife, and then she's like, boink, and yanks the toupee off the shop owner's head, and he's got the map tattooed on his head. This highly detailed map of a minefield with a path to get through it. It's cartoonish almost, and we see this happen later. You can just see the mines as they roll through it. We don't need this at all.
We really did not need to do this whole thing, but
it's a fantasy. Yeah, I love the movie, so I'm going to let it slide. The diver is already headed there, but he's going underwater, so you can just kind of walk a straight line and not worry about the mines.
Well, also, he probably set up the mines.
Fair point. Does he remember, though? Then this is such a great part. There's so many great favorite parts of this movie, but as Wen and Miette steal a boat from the docks, because they're going to go out to the oil rig, the octopus interrupts and uses Fleekins to control one into attacking Miette. And the look, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. The look of betrayal on her face when he's strangling her, it is heartbreaking. She does not understand what is happening. And then we get the real Rube Goldberg machine. As she's losing consciousness, Miette sheds a single tear, and that gets flung away by the vigorous strangling. The tear hits a spider web, and it makes this faint ding. That wakes up a parrot in a cage that starts chirping. The chirping wakes up a dog who starts barking. Barking wakes up a homeless guy in the alley. He yells at them to shut up. He throws a bottle. The glass breaking startles a seagull, which flies off. It takes a massive shit on a windshield. Then, the windshield wiper smears it.
It
so
probably
gross.
was one of the seagulls that was eating the fish basket
Probably,
from
yes.
the pier. And so it had a lot brewing.
Had a lot worked up, yeah. So the driver can't see, crashes into a fire hydrant. The water floods a box of rats out from the storm drain into a burlesque theater. Then topless women come running out screaming because of the rats.
They did not have giant knockers.
They were not small.
They were not small, but they were not like before.
I wasn't complaining. They were quality. Again,
no, nobody was complaining. Quality over quantity.
I got to get on this 4K.
But also, the thing with the rats, they just kind of clearly throw real rats into some water and said, go for it.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so...
well, they're in a box, floating. They're floating in a box.
Yeah, but the box tips over.
Does it? I missed that. Oh,
yeah.
Poor rats.
So,
I didn't see if there was no animals were harmed at the end of this. So probably.
Exactly. That's whatever organization is in charge of that was not present here for the rats. I mean, I know
PETA?
rats can swim, but
I don't know what French for PETA is.
Yeah.
I get.
I see what you did there.
So the rats go in, the women come running out. That distracts all the boobies. Distract this guy who's working on a power line outside, and he shorts something out, and power goes out to the entire area, including the lighthouse, which probably doesn't really happen. It's probably got a backup power supply, but again, fantasy movie purposes, the lighthouse goes out, and then there's a ship coming in, can't see how far away it is from shore anymore, and it crashes into the dock, and it stops. It crashes into the dock, which snaps one out of it. He gets knocked into the water. Both of them get knocked into the water, right? One and Miette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the boat stops like right before it's going to hit the sisters, who are just standing there. But I thought it was kind of interesting imagery where the very front of the boat was lined up right between them. I don't know. Nothing really comes of that necessarily, but I thought it was interesting. And that whole sequence is incredible.
Why was the octopus like laughing like crazy? Was it just because they were laughing because they survived and
Yeah, I think so.
they didn't move?
It's kind of like, hey,
Yeah,
you never had a close call and you can't stop laughing?
or they're just like evil and crazy.
Or.
I saw an interview, and maybe you've seen the same one, because again, there's not a lot of material available online about this, but the actress who played Miette, during that scene, it was written for her to cry, and she couldn't do it in front of all those people. She just didn't want to cry in front of all those people. So they had originally written it to where, of course, Ron Perlman does not smack the 9-year-old girl, but because she wouldn't cry, they had to have him actually hit her, like not as hard. Yeah, not as hard as obviously he could, but she said, it had to be done, and he didn't want to. He was such a gentle man and so kind to me, but he had to hit me so that I could cry.
They couldn't put a Visine drop in her eye.
We don't do that. We would rather just hit the child, which again, I'm like, there's some questionable, like she also talks about when she was auditioning for the movie, the director told her, now you're going to have to hold this mouse or else you're going to drown. And, telling her as if it's fact to test her reactions because there was going to be scary things in the movie.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck is going on behind the scenes?
Oh, my God. That's horrible. Yeah. Stop telling me these things.
It's cementing your favorite movie status.
I don't know. I'm separating art from artist.
Times are different now for reasons.
I didn't see that interview, but there was something in the commentary where they said something about like, oh, she really did get upset, and they felt bad about that. But I don't recall them saying why she got upset.
Because she just got smacked across the face a few times.
Well, that's what you say. I don't believe it.
From her words, I'll send you the link.
Do not. The Octopus Sisters, they're laughing maniacally about what just happened. And then they start dumping diesel fuel into the water where One and Miette are. So they're going to burn them alive. But Fleekins hitches a ride home on a motorcycle and a couple of dogs to tell Marcel about everything that's happened. Again, stretching the boundaries of belief here. Sure, he can understand a flea. So then he goes to the docks. Fleekins injects one of the sisters, and Marcelo does his organ grinder thing, and they attack each other, eventually falling into the water in the diesel. Then Marcel finishes them off with a lit cigarette. One and Miette had gotten out of the water in the meantime. And then there's a quick shot of One and Miette rowing through the minefield, and like we said earlier, it's super obvious where the mines are. He's even like just kind of pushing off them, being careful not to hit the little triggers.
They're bigger than the boat that they stole. So
yes. So at the oil rig lab, Kronk is too busy strapping Donray into the Dream Machine to be worried about the approaching blips on the radar that everybody else seems to be concerned with. Seems like the original has arrived. And upon inspection, the clones find that their explosives are missing from, the locker of explosives that people have. One and Miette arrive and they find their way in. One ties the yarn from his sweater around Miette's waist as she climbs through some small opening to try to find Donray. And the yarn is so she can find her way back, obviously. And there was something in the commentary here where I guess Jean-Pierre Jeunet didn't know this until afterwards, that Ron Perlman does that same thing in the Name of the Rose, the movie with Sean Connery and Christian Slater. I don't know.
The thread thing?
Yeah. I could swear I saw that because I had a big Christian Slater phase, but I don't recall that happening at all.
Classic from like every cartoon ever. So
yeah, okay, that's fair.
Why not?
Yeah,
borrowing from the best. I think he was like, oh, it was Ron Perlman who did it in this other movie. But anyways, while that's going on, Irvin helps lull Kronk to sleep. Donray's already asleep. They're both hooked up to the Dream Machine. I don't know what those organ stairs are for, but I liked it. Miette's walking up the stairs and There's like the organ sound. I guess it's
Because that way everybody knows you're coming.
Yeah, some kind of warning system because Martha hears them and then she's looking through this like binocular thing, sees Miette coming. And then I think Miette tries to open the door and she can't and gets scared. It's like this big metal door. It wasn't clear to me. She suddenly turns around and runs back. And that's when the yarn gets snagged on something sticking out of the wall. So it starts using up twice as much of his sweater instead of none. One loses the end of it, and then she finds it. So she's like, oh, now I don't know which way to go. Because I guess a bunch of these little portals that she could be crawling through. She and one call for each other a bit. She picks the wrong crawl space and ends up in a room with Martha. And then one's suddenly busy dealing with the clones. He's throwing them down a trash chute or something one at a time. It's a little bit of comedy relief there because he's, not seen them before. He keeps turning around and there's another one.
Well, yeah, it's funny because they're all like, we don't want to go fight the intruder. And Martha's like, are you boys? Are you men? And they're like, no, we're not men. Yeah. So they go confront the giant one. And the only thing that the first one can say is, please don't hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty good. And then Martha, she's this tiny lady. She's about to blast me out with a handgun that's bigger than she is. And then the original harpoons her from behind. Not a euphemism. He shoots her in, not any better, but he shoots her in the back with a harpoon. He's got
payback.
Yeah. Yes. He's got the dynamite that went missing, and he tells Martha that he made a mistake and that he's there to clean it up. And he tells Miette to run. And I thought it was pretty funny when one of the clones runs in and he asks Martha if it hurts. And she's like, yes, I'm allergic to steel. I don't know if that was like a bad translation or what, but I think I actually looked up what she actually said. And I think that is it. But I thought that was funny. Then the original gets the clones to help him to rig the place to blow up. And then they run off. And Martha's pretty cold-blooded. She acts like she's going to help Miette. She's like, take this key, go through some passage, and just as Miette's about to go, she takes one step, and Martha opens up this trap door that Miette was standing over. And as she's falling through, one is magically there. I can let it slide. He's there. He grabs her by the hair, catches her at the last second, and he puts her to safety. And then the railing that he's hanging on for purchase, that breaks, and he falls in instead. That is probably the biggest stretch for me in this movie, but they don't dwell on it, so it's fine. And now we're getting to the best part. This is my favorite part, the final dream. Miette finds the room with Kronk and Don Ray hooked up to the dream machine. She tries to wank Don Ray, but Irvin stops her. He says that it'll kill Don Ray. Unclear if he can be trusted. Could just be trying to use her.
He's not
right?
told the truth the entire rest of the movie.
Yes.
So I'm thinking not.
Probably not, no. Irvin tells Miette that she has to go into the dream to save him, and then he coaches her through getting hooked into the dream machine and falling asleep. I got to tell you right now, I'm like, just thinking about this, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm trying not to cry. This movie has such an effect on me. It's incredible. I love it so much. So the dream starts the same as the opening. There's the wavy Christmas Santa nightmare scene, but it's Don Ray in the crib, and he's not scared. And it's Miette who comes down the chimney. It's not Santa. My next note is I'm about to cry, and I was just feeling that way. She picks up Don Ray, and as he's about to leave, the door turns into the big metal one in the oil rig that she couldn't open before, and she turned around and ran. And the music here is so amazing. It's like it's soured. It's it's kind of pleasant at first, and then it just takes this sour turn. And then she turns around, and Don Ray is sitting at the desk eating. And the child that she's holding, it morphs into Kronk. And he has one of my favorite lines here. This was on my answering machine for a long time in like 1998. He says, "Qui es-tu? Que fais-tu dans mon rêve?" And it means, it says, "Who are you? What are you doing in my dream?" And I think it's just the delivery of that and the scene that it's in. I don't know. I love that so much. She wants Kronk to let Don Ray go and to take her in his place. And this time I had such an emotional reaction to that. I don't know if it's because now I think this might be the first time I've watched this movie since having kids. This scene is intercut with the professor rigging the supports of the oil rig with dynamite. And at one point, he finds one who landed in a bird's nest on a girder beam. He is covered in bird shit. It is so gross. That is my nightmare.
Like, no, just let me fall to my death rather than be covered in bird shit.
The professor tells one to get out of there because the place is going to blow sky high, and obviously one's going to try to save the children first. Back in the dream, Kronk grows younger as Miette grows older. Again, this is incredible. It looks great for 1995 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it helps that there's like 3 or 4 stages that they each go through, and that they found lookalike actors. So they had some like a stopping point instead of trying to like just fill the gap between, 80-year-old Miette and 8-year-old Miette, or however old she is.
Yeah.
Kronk starts to panic, and then old Miette picks up the child Kronk and dances with him for a bit before spinning him away. And then the panic really sets in, and he reaches for this bell handle that he pulls to call for the clones for assistance. But just as he's about to reach for it, he gets even younger and shorter, and he can't reach. Miette's very old now, and Kronk is a toddler. And she rings the bell and hides, and then one of the clones comes in, and there's a baby on the floor, so he assumes that the baby's supposed to be put into the dream machine. And so he does. He puts baby Kronk into the dream machine, and that starts the loop of him being put into the dream machine. And just over and over again, dream and a dream and a dream, and so on, until in real life, Kronk has a stroke and dies. And I thought that was just like such a cool way to dispatch of the villain in this movie. Nobody else likes that. Come on.
No, it was great. And it's because it's a dream, they get away with not having to explain the logic of it.
Right.
A lot. But I kind of watched it and was like, because as you said, it loops and it gets faster and faster. And if you imagine it happened once for every child that he kidnapped and put into there, it would be poetic justice. They all kind of get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very fascinating Benjamin Button fight.
What I'm unclear about, though, is why he agrees to her terms.
Oh, to let Don Ray go?
Right, because he searched forever to find the perfect child. He found one. Why would I trust this child that I've never met and that somehow worked her way into my dream?
Well, I mean, she's a little more mature, so I think he could, like, deal with her and like ask her to like you need to dream about this, try to dream about this or whatever. I don't know. That's my only guess, but I never really questioned that before, and so I'm going to forget about what you said immediately.
My bad.
Oh, I just took it as she's not afraid of him either, and he was never gonna fulfill his promise because he doesn't exactly have the best track record of actually following through on taking care of these kids.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
Why not keep both of them forever?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing that, George.
That's how I took it.
We'll see if Blue ever gets invited on again. So, Mia is gently woken up by one who thankfully took a little time to wash the bird shit off. They grab all the kids, Irvin and the clones, and take a couple of rowboats to safety. And it's pretty adorable when one finds Don Ray. He's just sitting there eating. Then the original timer goes off, blowing up the place, the lab part of it anyway. And he does have a moment of clarity where he's strapped up on the legs of the oil rig outside.
Straight crazy for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's been going nuts. One of his lab notebook entries or something jogs, like it's because it blew up in the lab, it comes fluttering down. And that jogs his memory. And I guess he remembers more now. I'm not really sure. I thought he had already remembered. And
maybe it was like, he's like, no, we have to end this. But then like a note comes by and he's like, oh yeah, maybe he had unfinished work he wanted to do, or he realizes he's still passionate. There's a lot of moments where we're kind of digging for a motivation.
Right. And this is the one.
Yeah. Which
this is the one that really bothers me. Go ahead.
The movie, like I said, there's a bunch of instances where it's like, if they just had explained a little bit more. I don't know if this is one of those specific moments. I think his motivations can be a little bit more up in the air because, like I said, he was just stark raving mad for running around like a maniac. And then he's like, wait, I don't want to die. That's kind of good enough, but yeah.
Yeah, this was the one that really just bothered me because, like, he calls for them to come back, they don't, and then I just what was it that changed his mind? I thought it was fine with him just blowing up the place, but anyways, the place blows up, and then it's circle close on Don Ray, who burps, and that's the end. Bean.
So the professor guy, so he actually created everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He created Crank.
Yes.
And crew.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go first on changes we'd like to have seen?
I think, like I just said, just a few key moments of just a little bit more explanation or backstory. Especially like the Cyclops cult. I think it's an interesting setup. Now do something with it.
Right. Oh, you know what would be the worst, though, is if they did like a prequel TV series about it. or something.
No. But like, yeah, after the pier, like you just don't see them anymore because their usefulness for the script has gone away. But you get the impression that they're a big oppressive presence in this city that they're in. So
There's plenty of them left. Yeah.
yeah. There's also no women are there, which I thought was interesting. It's like the incels of whatever time period this is.
Right. We'll always have incels. What about you, George?
I agree with Blue about I would have liked to see the Cyclops. Just the whole mechanism for their eye was like really cool, and I really would have. I thought they were a pretty cool like group, and then they disappeared, like after that whole like flea, the Brutus scene when he killed off the other two. So I would have really liked that. One thing that was also bugging me was when. When Ron Perlman, when One and Miet were looking through the grate and they saw the entire cult there, I don't know, did they have a plan when they went down that chute?
No.
Right. No, because
that kind of bugged me.
you can imagine one just rushing in without thinking, but Miet's supposed to be smarter than that. Why does she go after him?
I think she's a little smitten by him. Like he sees her as a daughter. I think she's has a little bit of a crush on him. And I think that's why she goes after him.
Okay.
Well, there's that whole scene where she's like asking him about like if he would ever get married and like what
I'm not gonna lie, that made me a little uncomfortable.
Well, it didn't make me uncomfortable because he's not like, oh, I'll wait for you to get older, which would be the totally creepy thing. He's just like he's like, oh, I need time to find the right person, whatever. He's like,
right, so he doesn't tell her no. He says, I'll wait for you without saying I'll wait for you.
He's also kind of dumb. So, but anyways, yeah, I don't have a lot that I would want to change. Yeah, I had a few little nitpicks, but for the most part, it's a fantasy movie and it's so well done, so I can kind of brush those off. I would have liked to see, even now, I would like to see them spend a little bit of money and make the CGI stuff a little better because it does take me out of it.
No.
You don't want George Lucas doesn't not add more, just the stuff that's already there, make it a little better.
No. That's a Pandora's box. It's better if nobody remembers this movie. Nobody tries to remake it because I could just see them saying.
I'm not saying remake it.
No, but as soon as it gets enough attention, that's what would happen.
Okay.
It would get a remake.
All right, good thing nobody listens to this podcast.
Just think of Total Recall and the other remakes.
Yeah.
All of Disney's live action adaptations.
No good will come of this wish.
I think the one thing it would be like, I wish that the professor didn't change his mind at the end. That just doesn't track for me. And it's right at the end. So like the one thing that it really sticks for me happens right at the end. So
no, I disagree. I think it's important that he has a moment, because up until then he's been bonkers under the sea, a hermit. Then he has at least some moment of clarity where he's like, I made a mistake and I need to fix it, and I am part of the problem, so I will take myself out. And then he becomes afraid. He becomes a little more human. But I think where it's more important is that the clones who have never had an original thought in their life leave him behind.
Okay, yeah.
They're making a bid for their independence.
All right, yeah. To get to that end, I guess for sure that makes sense. All right. Okay, you're invited on again.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that takes us to the rating. Rotten Tomatoes scores are 80% with the critics, 71% with top critics, and 89% with the audience with an average score of 4.2 out of 5. I think all of that is way too low. They're good scores, but I'd like it more than that. I'm not even a fantasy guy. I think like this and Labyrinth might be the only. Well, I guess Pan's Labyrinth also is kind of fantasy, but I adore this movie. The kids are adorable. They're good actors. There's no like kid actors can be terrible, and they're all good in this. There's been so much imagination put into this, and it's interesting, and it's beautiful, and it's macabre, and I think that it has a very specific look and design language that I just find hard to look away from, and I don't want to look away from it. Down to the color correction, by the way. This was interesting. This came out of the commentary. I forgot. Ron Perlman said that they all have like pancake white makeup on. They're all like super pale when it was filmed, and they do color correction to make them have more of a normal skin tone. And that's why all the colors are so rich and bright and like
saturated.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. That was a neat thing to learn. Why did I say neat? Oh my God.
Neat.
Sure is nifty.
Probably has a lot to do with how they made it look like night the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then for The Mummy, the other one you were on, where I was making fun of their night for day with the blue lens, that was terrible.
This was just a little bit better.
a little bit. So, but add to that, it's a great story, and there's a fantastic score by Badalamenti. I love this movie. Anybody have final comments before we talk about scores?
No, I think my comments will justify my score.
Okay. I think, as a surprise to no one, this has got to be an S tier for me. And I award The City of Lost Children 9.5 out of 10 baguettes. I did have 9.8. I did have actually 9.8, but I brought it down a little bit because we did nitpick a little. It's a definite recommend for me, and it's one of the best movies out there. What about you guys? Tier, score, recommend?
You go, Blue. I feel like Zach's gonna fire off a list
now
of
you're going to
French
be the one who's not
expletives.
going to come back.
I could make that happen.
Yes.
I will give it a tier, and I will give it a 9 out of 10. And the reason for this is that the movie stylistically could not be better. Imaginatively could not be better. The story is very weak, and it is just enough. It is just enough to give a framework for the real meat of the movie, which is the visuals.
Okay, I will say I agree with you. First of all, A tier and 9 out of 10. That's fine. I realize that I cannot be objective about this movie. But in terms of the story, I agree. Okay, there's barely a story there. Yeah, I mean it's
barely a story.
It's
there's
basic.
A ton of characters, but they're caricatures.
Yeah, but the storytelling is amazing. So I feel like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to try to talk you up to a higher score, but I did want to take a little bit of an issue with that.
Fair. No, that's fair. It's almost a little bit of an Alice in Wonderland type story where it's not really about the story, but it's about moving between these scenes and visuals and moments with characters. And at the end, they're going to find their way home. That was never a question, of course. But yeah, the story just feels like it's the least important part of the movie.
Okay, I agree with that, actually.
Okay.
All right, George, what about you?
All righty. So I will preface this to say this is my rating is partially your fault, Zach, because you've been tongue-baiting this movie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, since Alien Resurrection. Yeah, I think this is more in the B tier for me. like a 7.5, 7.5 baguettes. Mostly 'cause it does, to me, it feels like a short story that was turned into a movie. And I agree completely with what Blue said. It just, the visuals were very compelling. Like I was like, that eyepiece for the Cyclops definitely had me feeling some kind, like I was that kind of blew me away as a nerd, and like just loving the steampunk vibes for everything. Uh, but yeah, there was just stuff that kind of annoyed me in the story. Like, why did they do that? Or why did he do that? Or what? Just the whole, what happened to the Cyclops after that one scene? They just disappeared completely. And in the very beginning, they seemed like a very prominent like force in the movie, and then they just disappeared. So
Mm-hmm.
there was stuff like that, and yeah, I think I went into it expecting this is Zach's best, like, favorite movie of all time. Like, this is gonna be, and then I watched it and went, that was Zach's favorite movie.
One of my favorite movies.
And
Yeah,
you
one of your
know,
favorite movies.
and when I say the story is weak, I don't mean that as it being bad. Like it's part of the fairy tale aesthetic, I guess, of the story, and that the fairy tales are generally really simplistic stories. There's not a lot of character depth. There's not a lot of character arcs or anything like that. But what I think it ends up lacking is staying power. Like I watched this movie probably 10 years ago, and I think of it every once in a while. But when I think of it, I think of, oh, that scene looked so cool. I don't ever think about the story part of it. And so I think that's part of what keeps it from like being excelling into something that is a once in a lifetime movie. And instead you get a really, really amazing movie. But it's visually amazing.
I think since you went to film school, I'll just accept that. George, I told myself that if you gave it at least a B tier, I wouldn't kick you off the show. So you've saved your own skin.
Just barely.
But obviously, I recommend it. I think Blue recommends it. George, would you also recommend it or no?
I recommend definitely watching it at least once.
Okay. That's a yes. You heard it. Also, given how much I hate everything that George recommends, I think he was pretty kind to this one. All right, so I have a short quiz that I'm calling "Pardon My French."
Man, I'm going to fail this so hard.
I apologize if any of this is factually inaccurate. I did my best. Also, with like, you can't even tell anymore with the AI search results.
Oh yeah.
So, first question, not to be confused with a baguette, what do we call pain de campagne here in the States?
What do you call what?
Pain de campagne. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. Pain is French for bread.
Right. It was the other part that I
got that part.
No guesses?
My guess is dinner rolls.
This is the Pardon My French quiz.
Croissant.
The answer is French bread. We call it French bread.
Oh.
All right. What condiment was regulated by the FDA from 1950 to 2022 to a standard with strict requirements of vegetable oil, vinegar, lemon or lime juice, salt, sugar, tomato paste or puree, and selected spices?
Ketchup.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
This is the Pardon My French quiz.
French dressing?
It is French dressing. That's 1 point for Blue.
French dressing has tomato paste in it?
Yeah, that's what makes it orange.
Pink.
Oh,
pink. Yeah.
I mean, my guess was ketchup. So thank you for going first.
Thanks for diving on that grenade. All right. In France, French fries are called pommes frites. What is the direct translation of pommes frites?
Fried potatoes?
You are close. That is the indirect translation.
Cut potatoes.
Apple fries.
Apple fries?
Yes. Bonus question, why are they called apple fries or pommes frites?
Apples of the earth?
That is correct. Potatoes are the apples of the earth. Pomme de terre. All right. And as we all learned from Pulp Fiction, in France, they have the metric system. They don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is. True or false, the quarter pounder with cheese is called a Royale with cheese in France.
I'm going to say false.
That is correct. As a bonus, what do they call the quarter pounder with cheese in France? This comes from the McDonald's website, by the way, so it's got to be right.
It's not the Royale with cheese.
No, I just said it's not. Were you not listening?
I was like, how is it not that?
It might have used to been called that, but it's not anymore anyway.
I got nothing.
Cheeseburger Royale.
Close.
It is close.
Closer than I would have thought.
Yes. Because I kind of thought that they wouldn't use cheeseburger, right? It would be like fromage or something. What do we in the States call the particular way to style long hair called I can't pronounce this. Why did I write this down?
French braid?
That is correct. It is French braid.
I'll just save you the trouble.
Yeah. It was La Tresse Africaine. It basically is like an African braid, I guess, in France.
Really?
Yeah. At the beginning of the 20th century, in the English-speaking world, the French had acquired a reputation for more adventurous and passionate sex practices, leading to the coining of what term, also known as cataglottism?
Oh, I was going to say French kiss.
That is correct, George.
Oh, sweet.
French kiss.
Hey, baby, want a cataglottism?
That last one, that word tripped me up completely.
All right. This one's easy, but not obvious. From what country do French bulldogs originate?
Britain, right?
I will accept Britain. I wrote England. I think that's the same thing, right?
Sure.
Sure, why not? I don't live there. Yeah. Early 19th century bulldog breeders in England sent the dogs that they thought were too small to France, where they had become popular when the English workers displaced by the Industrial Revolution had brought toy bulldogs with them for sale.
I mean, they're so cute.
I'd much rather have a French bulldog than a full-size bulldog.
Smaller poops. We got two more. This is a fitting question. What do we as Americans call the breakfast item referred to as pain perdu in France, meaning lost bread, which is why it's a fitting question, because this is la Cité de Perdu, Enfants Perdu. Perdu Enfants? Whatever.
French
you want me to read
toast.
it again? I started babbling. French toast is correct. All right. Last question.
Bread.
All right. French mustard is a dark brown, mild, tangy, and sweet mustard.
Grey Poupon.
Despite its name, is not French in origin. What is the origin of French mustard? Country is close enough.
Germany?
Incorrect. George, you got to guess? Guess a country.
They have all the bratwursts in
Britain
Germany.
is correct.
I figured that was...
The UK, yep. It was invented in the UK by Coleman's in 1936. So that leaves Blue with 6 and George with 2. Good try, George. You did better than usual. And then do you have, I don't know when we're going to get to it, George, but do you have clues for your next MCU or AVPCU adjacent pick?
Sure. Denzel Washington's in it.
Okay.
I think this is the only movie that is MCU adjacent.
That he's in?
Been in.
Okay. Yeah. It's not Book of Eli, is it? I don't know why that comes to mind first.
Wait, who was in Book of Eli?
I don't know. I'm just...
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm just like thinking of movies that he's been in. What's the one?
Should I give you another hint?
Yeah, I'll take another hint. Sure.
Idris Elba, isn't it? Elba.
Is it Pacific Rim?
No.
I didn't think Denzel Washington was in
wasn't in
that, but yeah. All right. So Denzel Washington and Idris Elba. I don't know if I've seen this movie.
Say it.
I don't know
If you have
either.
another hint, I'll take another hint. Otherwise, just say it.
Russell Crowe is also in it.
I don't know. Well, that also makes it MCU adjacent, right? I don't know.
Also, wait,
is
also
it like
Josh Brolin's in it, so it's
Wow.
3 times.
You got a genre?
It's a lot of big names that we're still stumped.
Gangster movie?
Okay. Josh Brolin? I don't know. I think you're gonna have to tell me.
It's American Gangster.
I have not seen that.
No,
I
me
have
neither.
not seen that. Okay, interesting.
Maybe this will be the first movie you actually like that I choose.
With that cast, it should be pretty good. It should be. All right,
It's actually
cool.
pretty good.
All right.
I was surprised I didn't make it my first MCU adjacent.
I wish you had.
I know.
We will get to that at some point. That's it for City of Lost Children. Next, we are returning to the AVPCU with full coverage of Predators from July 9th, 2010. Blue, thank you for being on again. You want to plug your show?
Sure. I am 1/3 of the team of Gamers Week podcast. We cover...
It's more than 1/3.
It's a strong third, a strong 1/3. My co-host
There's 2 other people there.
We cover weekly gaming news. It's fun. It's funny. And we are live on Twitch every Wednesday evening with audio episodes released every Friday. So check us out.
Highly recommend. And let's see, I've been doing Retro Game Club as a sub-in host quite a bit. And that takes up all my time. And writing questions for Blue's show.
Yes, Zach sends us trivia questions every week. And I never know the answer, but the boys occasionally do.
Yeah, I only recently found out you don't like trivia, so I'm glad I had this quiz for you.
But she does. You do so well.
Yeah, I don't know why you hate it, but yeah, you always do well. Always.
I just trivia is not something I enjoy because it's either you know the answer or you don't. It's not like here's some facts, let's all figure out like a puzzle.
Can't math your way through it.
You can't math your way through it. It's just a test of who can memorize the most shit, which I don't enjoy. So that's my anti-trivia plug, and then that's it. That's all I have to say about that.
Extra special thanks to Dale Coop for the translation and pronunciation help for the intro. It would have been even worse if he didn't tell me how to say it.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it was worse. He's an indie game developer for the NES and Famicom. He does a lot of work with his son, actually, which is pretty cool. And I know him, I think, through Retro Game Club, or if not that, it's Homebrew Game Club. That's a good show, too, by the way. But I'll put a link in the show notes for Dale's page if you want to check out his stuff. He's a really great guy. Merci, Dale. If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We also have links there to a couple ways that you could help support the show and our socials. Please leave us a review and help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a clone, and tell the original. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Au revoir.
Bye.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidy of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.
All right. Do you guys want to bullshit for a few minutes about some other
happenings?
Foreign films that we like?
Sure.
Yeah. You got a couple handy, George? I did tell you, right?
Mine are, no, I think I kind of forgot about this part, but all of mine are of the kung fu variety of like the
it's
early
a foreign film.
Jet
That's
Li
fine.
days. Yeah.
That's fine. Pick one. Tell me about it. Which one do you start with?
Well, Donnie Yen's done a great job with Ip Man. And
that's a great series.
I've never seen those. It's been on my list though.
It's pretty great.
Is it just like
it
kung fu fighting?
The shark for me. Yeah, it's there's a lot of kung fu. It's based off of an actual hero from back in the day. Supposedly was Bruce Lee's mentor. Feel free to correct me if I'm misremembering anything, Blue. But yeah, it's supposedly based off of Bruce Lee's mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah,
Have you seen Ong Bak, Zach?
No, it sounds familiar. Is
Or
that
Tony Jaa? Or Jaa,
Yeah,
however
that's
you say
another
his
good
last
one.
name. I think you'll like it because there's this one scene where he has to fight. It's like a tower full of thugs. And so he is running along in a circle up this tower, fighting guys all the way, and it's one giant take.
Did they just steal that for what's that movie? It's called The Something, or is that what the English translation is? The Raid.
Could be.
Okay,
I didn't.
maybe
I
I have
didn't
seen
see
it.
that, but
Maybe I have seen it, and it was called The Raid, or maybe The Raid just stole that.
I think
Yeah.
The Raid took it from that.
Okay, because I think The Raid, that's the entire movie is that kind of fight. But yeah, I feel like I've heard of Ong Bak.
It's also referenced a lot for like the Daredevil hallway scene where he's fighting a ton of people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like a good fight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was that one of your recommendations, Boo, or did that just come into your mind when George was talking
just
about?
popped into my mind when George was mentioning Ip Man.
What do you have on your list?
I'll make a shout out for Babette's Feast. Have you guys seen that?
I've never heard of that. What?
Oh, okay. Babette's Feast is from 1987. It's a Danish film. It was the first Danish film, I believe, to ever win an Oscar. It is about a woman who is essentially, she's a refugee, and she's taking into this small, like, mountain village where everybody is Puritan, for lack of a better word. I don't remember what their term for it is, but very religious. Everything that is enjoyable is a sin. And
of course.
So she lives there, and everybody comes to love her because she's really good at cooking.
Okay.
And so she puts flavor into food that they long ago forgot, you could enjoy your food. So one day she wins the lottery, and she decides to thank the village that has housed her for, I don't know, 20 years or something. And she puts on like this 10-course professional French meal. She wants to cook for them. And this is a big deal for everyone because they're like, this meal will let the devil into our hearts. We shouldn't eat it, but we can't say no to Babette. And so we will sit at the meal and we will eat it and will not enjoy it. But of course, like, she cooks this absolute fantastic feast for them. They all sit there like and lose themselves in the meal, and they remember that life can be beautiful, and they stop fighting with each other, and they forgive each other. And it's a beautiful, like, the most feel-good movie ever. You definitely
I was waiting for the dark twist.
No. It's just a pure feel-good,
I don't want to
I'm
feel
glad
good.
to be alive movie.
All right, I got it. I was like, ooh, like, was it made out of people? What's
I was like, then Mike Johnson comes out.
Okay. I would say first on my list, first one I'm going to talk about on my list anyway, is El Orfanato, The Orphanage.
I love The Orphanage.
Oh,
it's a good movie, man. It's got a nice little twist at the end there. But that's that was one that was produced by
Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you, Guillermo del Toro. I don't think he wrote it or he definitely didn't direct it. It was actually, I have it called up here. It was directed by, I don't know, J.A. Bayona. I don't know. I thought it was somebody that I knew, or maybe it was written by somebody who's done other stuff. But yeah, it's this woman. She runs an orphanage, right? and there's something about her child goes missing. I just remember it being like really freaky, and there's a really disturbing jump scare in the middle.
Yeah, she was raised in the orphanage, and then
that's what it is. Yeah.
After she leaves, it shuts down. So she has this dream that she's going to go bring it back and help a bunch of kids, but her child goes missing.
Right. I was like, I don't remember there being a bunch of kids in it. It's because she goes back, and before they can like open it up again, her child goes missing, and it's pretty dark. It's pretty.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't want to say more than that, but that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Freaked me out. George, you got another Ip Man 2?
No, I was gonna say. Actually, it just occurred to me. Warrior Nun is also a pretty good one. It's a series though.
Okay.
On Netflix.
Is it a foreign language?
It's in Spanish, actually.
All right, then we're good. It counts. I mean,
yeah, I've seen it come across on the feed or whatever, but not actually watched it.
Yeah, I only clicked on it out of curiosity, and then I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." And then I kept on watching.
It's another
And it's actually
fighting
pretty good.
thing. I take it from Warrior Nun. Okay.
with like religious like overtures. It's basically a specific nun that is man, I'm blanking now on the whole premise of the film because I think the main actress is now married to Chris Evans. I think so. It's also
really?
MCU
Okay.
adjacent.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good
It's
for
a pretty
him,
good series.
baby.
I'm blanking completely now on what it's about, but I know there's a lot of like spiritual stuff in it, like good versus evil, and an actual nun that is like an awesome fighter.
Fights demons the old-fashioned way, I guess.
She kicks ass for the Lord.
Yep.
A Tale of Two Sisters.
That sounds really familiar.
It's 2003 from South Korea, and it's a haunted house
Yes.
story
I haven't seen it.
with two sisters. Yeah.
It's on my list. Yeah. I will bump it up the list.
Do it.
Yeah. I like
It's
a
very good.
Is it pretty creepy?
It's super creepy. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've heard that. Okay. I will go with more lighthearted, and we talked about this a little bit, but Amélie, another Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie. I don't know, what's it really about? She's just this French woman who goes around. Basically, she can't get her shit together, so she goes around getting other people's shit together for them, and then finds love, happy ending. Which normally I'm not about the happy ending, but it's really good. It's very well done. Very not as stylized as City of Lost Children, but similarly saturated colors and interesting shots and
A little more
usage of lens.
digestible.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it was so successful.
Right. And actually, I remember when that was out, my wife went and saw it. We might have only been dating at the time, but she went and saw it with some friends, and she's like, "I think you'd really like this movie, Amélie." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "All right, let's go check it out." And then, I went and saw it with her again, and I was like, "I love this movie. This is great. Like, this is by the same guy who did one of my favorite movies. Now you got to watch it."
And she's
did she like
no.
City of Lost Children?
She does not like it as much as I do, nor does she like it as much as Amélie, of course. But it's not the worst thing I made her watch.
I distinctly one of my strongest memories of Amélie is walking around Blockbuster and always seeing that cover. Like it always just popped out.
Yeah.
Compared to the other DVD
very
covers.
recognizable.
And that haircut became popular for a while.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah. Not everybody can do it.
Nope.
Yep.
I had a tough time with it myself.
Let's see. As I have a list, and there's some that are like super everybody knows, like Train to Busan.
I had that in mind.
That's what I was going to do.
Right.
Nice. It's a great movie, though.
On Rotten Tomatoes, that's got like a 7 rating out of 10. I'm like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah,
and what's
it's
wrong
great.
with them? That's pretty much a perfect movie to me. And
it's also MCU adjacent, so we're going to do it someday.
Oh, it.
How is it MCU adjacent again?
Gilgamesh.
Oh, yeah.
Actor.
That's
yeah.
right. Gilgamesh is, yeah.
And then Pan's Labyrinth, of
Yep,
course,
that's on my list
everybody
too.
knows. That's amazing.
Yep.
How about Battle Royale?
Oh,
I don't
awesome.
think I've seen that. That's the one that everybody says Hunger Games ripped off?
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's from Japan, 2000.
It's been spoiled for me.
Well, yeah, at this point, everybody can kind of guess the general framework of the plot, but it's a book also, and the movie pulls a lot of punches that are in the book.
Okay. I don't know if you can get me to read.
I feel like you'd still enjoy it, even though you've seen Hunger Games, because I think it's way better than Hunger Games.
I mean, watch the movie, then read the book, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you could do it that way. I made the mistake of recommending the book to my little sister, and then afterwards she's like, "Why did you have me read this?" Sorry.
Yeah. She's delicate. I just had 2 more that hadn't been mentioned. One I think I talked about before. It's called Mads. It's another French film, and it's sort of a patient zero zombie thing. It's a little bit more like 28 days later in terms of the zombieism. You know, you don't die and come back. It's more of a rage virus kind of thing. But it's really well done, and it's entirely in one shot, and you wouldn't even know it. Like,
I've heard of this.
yeah,
I haven't seen it, but
yeah, no, I didn't know it was in one shot, and I was like 2/3 of the way through, and I was like, man, this, like, there's some long shots in this. Like, I wonder how they did it. And I looked into it afterwards. It's like, oh, it's all one shot, and they took 5 times to do it, and it's not like it's all in one room or in one building. It goes all over the city. So it's incredibly well done. And even if it wasn't that gimmick, it's still a good movie. It does kind of leave you wanting more. I will say that. So just don't expect a super satisfactory ending, but it has an ending. And then my last one was Goodnight Mommy, or Ixe, which means I see in German. Has anybody seen that one?
It sounds like a horror movie.
It is. It's twins who their parents had gotten into an accident of some sort, I believe, and the father died, and the mother needed like facial reconstruction surgery, because I think she's like a news anchor or something. So she's bandaged up through most of the movie, and the twins are always arguing about like they think that she's an imposter, or like it's not really her. And so it's a lot of psychological horror, and it's got a twist at the end that I'm not gonna spoil for anybody, but that's a good one. I like that one a lot. I've watched it, even knowing the twist, it's still a pretty good movie watching it again.
Okay.
Speaking of movies with a twist, what about Old Boy, the original?
That is quite a twist. I have seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a disturbing one.
Yeah, I had a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Just occurred to
Great
me,
movie.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also Hero, along the crouching.
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
How have you not seen Hero?
I don't know. I don't like anything, so I assume I'm not going to like it.
That was beautiful. Just from the visuals on that was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll watch it. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any others?
Well, you need to watch Akira. That's on your shelf.
Yep.
It's on your shelf right next to the lubricant.
Oh my God.
We don't kink shame.
Zach
loves body horror.
I'm gonna have to cut in some of the pre-show talk so that has a. You know what? It's fine. It's actually the lubricant. It's fine. I mean, it practically is actually.
And then you need to watch Paprika.
Oh yeah, I do need to watch that because I only recently found out that that's where Inception came from.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had written something in this when we were talking about the part where Kronk is in the dream. I had written something about Inception or really Paprika, and then I was like, I don't need to be going off on tangents. So thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. It's so good. It's of course I didn't bring up any Studio Ghibli movies because that should go without saying. But outside from Studio Ghibli, my favorite ones are Akira and Paprika.
All right, I got a lot of movies to watch.
Yep.
And not a lot of time to do it.
I just realized Infernal Affairs. I forget
Never heard of that.
The American version was that Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson was in. Oh, The Departed.
Oh, The Departed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So The Departed was loosely based off of Infernal Affairs, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
I didn't know that either.
That's a really good one.
All right.
Because I hated the end of The Departed.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from the original.
I barely remember the end of The Departed.
That's for the best.
Yeah. maybe that's why I don't remember it. Okay. Well, thanks again, Blue.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We'll have you on again sometime if you are willing.
Let's do it again.
All right. Have a good long weekend. Does everybody have tomorrow off? I don't. But
no.
My kids are home, so I kind of do. Alrighty. Well,
okay.
Have a
bye, you guys.
Regular day tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's my... Whoa, what is going on there? I don't know, man.
That's a face that inspires confidence.
Yeah, my computer's having some weird graphical glitches right now. I hope it doesn't crash. Okay.
You know what? I will be a good guest, and I will have an Audacity backup.
Nice. Yeah, that's my backup is what's glitching right now. All right. Where is that? There we go. There's George. All right. Sweet.
It's like, let me try to get rid of some of the obvious mess in the background that I can't hide with my jacket, with myself.
It's like it's out of focus. It looks fine.
Yeah, I keep thinking I need to get myself one of those backgrounds that other people have where it looks like you're in a spaceship or something so nobody sees your real house.
They're not just like built. I just use built-in stuff. Or I used artwork for this, but for like Zoom, there's this nice, looks like a pond or a lake or something. I don't know. I use that one, and people are always like, "Oh, that looks really nice." I was like, "It'd be great if it was actually right behind me, but you don't want to see what's there."
I'm actually working from the park right now.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Have you seen that guy that he has like a green screen behind him, but he's like on his bike while he's on Zoom meetings?
That's me. That's what I do. I'm usually on my treadmill or stationary bike during Zoom meetings. This is with people I don't know. So even then sometimes. But.
See, he's using a background for this one, so he doesn't trust either of us.
That's correct.
I've seen I've seen what's behind the image.
An unmade bed.
Unless you moved, it was your bedroom, right?
Oh wait. I fucking did it again. This showed up. This like peeked through the background once, and I caught it. It was like, sorry, it says lubricant, but it's like for the treadmill, right? But in huge letters, lubricant. And I was like, I'm gonna turn that the other way.
I mean, you do you. It's your bedroom.
I mean, it's really cheap, so.
Was it just the cost-saving part that showed up?
I mean, it was the only part that was really legible because it's written so big and huge, huge block letters, lubricant. Oh. Okay. Everybody's got backups going.